All right, welcome to the video. Anthony here with Hawkeye Traders. We are going to talk about volume surges and different things that can occur in the marketplace when these volume surges transpire. They can happen at a high, they can happen off a low, they can happen in the middle of a trend. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can interpret volume and price coming together, and I want to kind of dive into that very specifically so that you have a fairly good understanding of how you can employ this into your trading immediately. Like, this is not a something that takes years to integrate. I mean, it's something that you can literally use today. Okay? I mean, I literally used this skill set this morning to earn money, right? And you can too. So let's dive into this a little bit. I'm going to kind of depict a few different areas here on the chart that I want to look at, and then kind of go from there. So let's add one more. So we're going to analyze a couple of spots on the chart that I feel like there was significant volume that should have been noted. Okay, now this of course needs to be incorporated with price action, right? You know, everything is relative to what the market's telling you. If the market's telling you a story, it's your job as the trader to interpret the story. So let's just kind of start here. This is the overnight session of the NASDAQ. Now, I know some people trade the Australian session, the London session, the Asian session, whatever, and I know that varies throughout a 24-hour period that's called the Globex market. So let's take a look here at this high made. This white line here is the prior day high. Okay, so I just marked off the prior day high. So you can see we tested it once, we failed, and I want to talk about kind of how we reacted to it here during these overnight hours. Because there's a lot of people that work a job, right? Like a 9 to 5, and they still want to trade. So, you know, as they transition from that 9 to 5 into becoming a full-time trader, most people will trade before or after work, right? So the London session and the overnight sessions transpire. So, I mean, I have some traders that get up super early and that's what they do. You can trade the US market around the clock, right? Commodities, futures, whatever, Forex, things, currencies of that nature are all tradable around the clock. So take a look here at this high. All right, we come in here on increased selling volume, the highest volume bar printed since during the overnight. Okay, so very high selling at a run at what we know is resistance, because this is where the prior day failed. Well, what happened? Well, we fell back. Okay, not terribly unexpected. We tried to push into resistance. Sellers stepped in. That's congruent, right? Like, that makes good sense. And this is where the coin can be flipped two-sided, guys. Take a look here. We print now even higher buying volume, but the market continues to sell off. Why? Okay, you have to always ask why. Well, look at where that buying volume was printed. This is what you have. This is where it comes into, hey, I have to always look at market context to understand what's happening. So you have a low here, you have a retest of the low, you have a break of these highs, and a push higher. Where do you think the majority of these stop orders from whoever got long here are sitting? Right here, right? And which is the first bar or candle to penetrate where all those stop orders were sitting? Right here, right? So the market is a zero-sum game. For every buyer, there's a seller. For every seller, there's got to be a buyer. So you could see we got super strong buying here. We got initial pushback and immediate follow-through. Just because you have huge buying coming in doesn't mean that that's a change in trend necessarily. You have to take the context of what the market's telling you. The market's telling me that there was a short-term double bottom made here and a push into the prior day's high. Whoever got long anywhere in this area has their stops resting right below it. So this was just taking the stops, right? Those stops got filled, caused a whole bunch of buying, and guess what? The market, again, turned around and sold back off. So market context with volume makes you understand that whole price action perspective, okay? So it's not just the candle, it's not just the volume, it's market context, right? And market context is part of understanding price action. The price action told me there was a short-term double bottom here. The price action told me that we broke the highs in between the bottoms. The price action told me we went up here and tested the prior session high. So understanding that context of the clues price and volume are giving you helps you understand that all we did here was consume the stop orders. Market sells off. Now notice the market sells off at the bottom of the trend. What happens? You have super high selling volume with the close at the bottom of the candle. And then you immediately have super high buying volume that creates a massive rotation. Right? I'll never sell into a high buying volume, right? Because I want to see, does it pull back and follow through? If it doesn't, there's a good chance that it reverses. And I mean, the buyers immediately stepped in. You could see the market took a 2-candle impulse here. We consolidated and ran straight back to that prior session high. Okay? What happened here at the session high? Right? We had increased buying volume with the inability to close above the prior high. Okay. Not super aggressive buying volume, but there was a slight uptick as we tried to break this high, and it didn't pan out. Market falls back, right? So we've now failed in this area twice. We've placed a low. We've made a double top. We've pulled back. There's a chance that we're going to place a lower high. Right here, what do you see in this push higher? Ultra high buying volume, and the candle closes roughly at about the 55-60% mark of the overall candles move up and down. That's not strong, right? When we had big buying volume before, look what happened. We closed all the way at the top. We didn't do that this time. And then the market reversed and fell back. The sellers stepped in. And guys, it's just the cycle of that transpiring over and over and over again. But you must understand price action because that's going to provide context. You must understand volume, and you must be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. There's nothing else on my chart. What you see is all you need. You need to understand the relationship between buyers and sellers. You need to understand how that volume is printing. You need to understand what that price action is telling you, putting that context in perspective. You need to now create a thesis around why am I going to put risk on? I'm going to put risk on because I know that ABC equals XYZ. I know that I'm at my prior day high. I know that I continue to fail here. I know that I placed a newly appointed lower low. There's a better than not chance I'm going to appoint a newer lower high, which is what happened right here. All right? So here's the low. Here's the lower low. Here's the double top. Here's the low. Here's the lower high. And now we make the lower low. We failed twice to go higher. There's a better than not chance that we're going to pull back again. And by just putting that context together with what the price action's telling you and what the volume is confirming, you can easily maneuver the ups and the downs of what the market's doing. Whether it's at a reversal point, whether it's mid-trend, whether it's reversing on favoring volume, whether it's reversing on opposing volume, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's only a handful of concepts that once you understand them, everything begins to make sense. And I promise you, as you develop along your trading career, you will put less and less crap on your chart because it's all just clutter. So with that, guys, if you want to learn more about understanding volume and price action, if you want access to our Hawkeye tools, if you would like to have access to our vault of knowledge, there's links below this video. I encourage you to click on them, consume the content, reach out to myself or my team with any questions you may have, and we would be more than happy to welcome you to the Hawkeye family of traders, get you set up, get you up and running, get you access to that vault of knowledge so that you can take the step forward of simplifying your trading and magnifying it at the same time. God bless, guys. I'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like it. Feel free to leave a comment and, of course, subscribe to the channel.